and welcome to another episode of What Do You Collect? This one's going to be a fun one. We have two design artists here with us today. We're going to be talking about physical artists as far as on your trading cards. Who draws those pictures? Who draws those lovely paintings? We got Josh Trout here. And as far as digital collectibles, we have Daniel Telado for NBATOPSHOT and Dapper Labs. He's going to be talking to us about some graphic design. So this is going to be great. We're going to be breaking into a bunch of different aspects. Tune in. Here we go. What do you collect? Welcome, guys. Thank you very much for coming on today. Appreciate you making the time and talking some sports and collectibles.
Thanks for having us.
Let's start out with the traditional collecting in our cardboard cards. We have Josh Trout. You tell me that as far as being an artist for Topps, how did you start in this drawing for baseball cards?
Well, I went to a graphic design and illustration school in Omaha, Nebraska. I really didn't know I loved art. I loved architecture. I actually wanted to be an architect, but I went to the art side of it. I didn't think there is anything in the fine art world that you could really make a living off of. Little did I know, but so I went the design route, worked in that field for many years after college. I actually didn't do a single piece of original physical hand-drawn artwork for 15 years after college. And then 2015, I felt like I was wasting a talent. So I wanted to get back into art. So I actually started with drawing and painting on baseballs, like the physical baseball. And then that led into, creating a Facebook page, getting onto Instagram in 2018. And that's when I started following artists because I was just trying to soak up as much information as I could, what was all out there. And I found sketch cards. And those were hand-drawn physical cards. Topps produced them. There's Star Wars, there's baseball. I collected as a kid with my dad, so that was a natural draw for me that I wanted to learn as much as I could about it. So that's really kind of how I got into the sketch card world. But I didn't start doing stuff for Topps until the end of 2018. I got an invite for Museum Collection, which is their high-end hobby product. And that was 2019 was my first set on that. And I've been doing Museum Collection ever since. I've done a couple of one other set that product is no longer being produced, but I got into Star Wars the end of 2022, I believe. So Star Wars and baseball are what I concentrate on. And I also do a little bit of other things as well as far as art goes.
That's awesome. That's fantastic. I did see a couple of the items. You have actually a Fanatics page. I believe there's a bunch of items that.
Yeah, I worked on with Fanatics I was one of their. So Fanatics has a side with artists that they work with, and then Topps sketch card division has a side with artists. So I worked with Fanatics on painting on the baseballs, and then I painted on some hockey pucks. I no longer do that with them. They kind of wanted to go the route of producing more quantity instead of the quality, I guess. Because I focus on quality and high and realism, and I just can't pump out the volume that they were wanting. So, but that's going to open some doors for me doing other stuff as well. So.
For sure. I did see there's that Bryce Harper 1 of 1. I think that's up there. It's just incredible, drawing on the ball. I just love the artwork on that. And then with the authenticated autograph as well. That's just like a true collectible, it's just like a 1 of 1, something that, you put your artwork on that and it just looks phenomenal. It's just a great piece. I mean, I'm sure you have many more, but.
Yeah, I love them. I've done almost, I think 25 or so baseball and hockey pucks for them. All of them have sold, except for maybe 1 or 2.
Oh, wow. That's amazing. Really cool stuff. Josh, thank you. I appreciate, you sharing this episode with us. We also have a digital designer here, Daniel, working for NBATOPSHOT, Dapper Labs. You want to tell us a little bit about what started you in the sports design and artist world?
Yeah, for sure. Actually, my journey is a little bit opposite to Josh. So our beginnings are very similar. So I actually started in the fine art side. So rather than starting off with design, I knew that design was going to be the end game, but I felt like I needed to build up more skills within the fine arts, you know. So kicked off my path or journey through that, initially starting off with a diploma in studio arts, then moving on to my communication design background as a degree here in Vancouver, and then spent some time in New York at the Cooper Union School of Art for a semester, just kind of exploring different ways to produce or design or create art.
How was the
With
pizza while you were there briefly? How was it? Was it you were a fan, or were you saying, "I could
it
do
was,
without this
you
New
know
York
what? No,
pizza"?
no, it was great. It helped me survive. I mean, I was in the East Village. I think it was like Two Brothers Pizza. You know, the dollar
Oh
slices. I
yes,
would get two of
dollar
them and a Coke.
slices for the that dollar goes a
You know
long
what?
way here in New York.
Yeah.
I'm
So I have a
thankful.
lot of nostalgia for it. I mean, I loved New York. It was always a dream of mine, and to accomplish that at a young age is great. And I had my fix of New York, and I always look back at it fondly. Made some great friends, but after my degree, I went straight into design. So I was working with the Vancouver Canucks. So from the get go, from sports. So I had a brief time there. Had a lot of experience working more so in the live, in arena experiences, activations with partnerships around Vancouver and charities as well that the Canucks works with. And then by chance ended up at Electronic Arts under the EA Sports NHL division. So I
Oh
actually
wow.
worked a lot on the Hut Live. So a lot of the cards, or they don't like to call it cards, the items, just because of copyright and all that, actually referred to a lot of Topps cards as to how we might have designed them, and worked on that side for a couple years, and then moved over to what we would have called main games. So producing back of box features, the actual game modes itself, and then by chance ending up at Dapper Labs, starting off with NFL All Day. I kind of moved around products a lot. Some products stayed, some left, and now I focus purely on NFL All Day and Top Shot. So there's two sides of the collectibles, or two sports that I focus on.
Something unique with the digital stuff as well. It's I think the collecting today is just keeps growing, and the direction obviously over the last 5 years, there's been that big boom since the COVID time. From that era of the 2021, what did you guys kind of notice from that? Josh, has there been a difference in the last couple of years?
Yeah, like you mentioned, COVID really was a boost in the collectible hobby world. You really saw I saw it with Project 2020, which Topps put out, which was they reached out to 20 different artists and they all produced the same 20 iconic rookie cards in their own style, medium, um, and that really, I mean a lot of the sketch card artists that have been working with Topps, and I was only in it, granted, for a year or two. But some of the old heads that have been with the company for a while doing sketch cards, they were a little disgruntled with, why didn't they get reached out to? You have artists already doing stuff, but they wanted to get some new perspectives, new artists, some people that were doing not just your traditional type stuff. So that really infused the collectible hobby because people went bonanza over collecting and buying that stuff online. And those artists got paid really well for doing it, where the sketch card side doesn't get paid very well. So I do the sketch cards out of nostalgia and the love of collecting and just doing them. I think they're cool, but I don't kill myself doing them. I don't do 200 cards. I'm doing like 10. So, uh, but besides the project 2020, and then they had some other projects that they did. Tops did. You also saw on social media a huge influx of uh, people just coming out because they're at home. That's when they started cutting up the cards. They started gluing them together and creating their own card. A lot of graphic designers and stuff started doing their own stuff, printing those cards, which technically you can't do that, but I mean, there's such a gray area in kind of the art world where people can kind of get away with. I mean, technically somebody could come after you, but you're not becoming millionaires and making if you're making millions of dollars doing it, then
Yeah, for sure. It's kind
companies
of
can
like there's
be.
I know there's a popular sneaker store that was in Manhattan that was kind of doing custom sneakers, and I think Nike has come after them at this
Probably because
point.
they're successful.
Yes, yes, they were opening up, many shops, and I think we're getting very big. And I know it's, it couldn't last too long, and unfortunately, they got a lot of upset customers who just want to wear something different.
Right, yeah.
But
Yeah,
I
there's
know,
the design and the art of side of that kind of stuff that you want to have that freedom to express yourself and design and do what you love. But then,
True.
maybe that's kind of why you have starving artists, because they're not
Yeah,
able to if they're making the millions and they're
yeah,
probably getting shut down for
no,
doing
it's
something illegal.
for sure, for sure. I've done my share. I've come from a theatrical background. I know about starving artists. I know about being a waiter. I know about doing, being in shows and just being in it for the passion and for like enjoying to be there and be a part of something. And
Yeah, one thing I will add, it did boost the collectible hobby to start recognizing sports and art. It's always been there. I mean, sketch cards have been done for many years, going back to the comic books. Because I had to learn what the heck what a sketch card was, and now that I'm in the hobby, kind of, I'll go to shows and the baseball community still doesn't know what a sketch card is. The Star Wars side, they're rampant for sketch cards. That's all they want.
yeah,
So
yeah.
it's a huge difference.
We're gonna come back to you on sketch cards, but I just want to give Daniel a shot here. Tell us a little bit about how things are going today, from compared to the last couple years since that COVID break.
Yeah, I mean, like when we started to launch, there was a general curiosity about digital collectibles. I think that's when different artists started to the idea of NFTs in conjunction with like Bitcoin and the whole cryptocurrency started to really take off, and it had a huge jump. I would say that was the height of Top Shot, and Top Shot is still we're still riding that high. But I think now as we within the past 5 years, aside from it just being a digital collectible as something that exists on the screen, now there's more push, at least internally, about what digital collectibles can be. Is it just a play? What can you be more interactive with it? It really needs to, I think, evolve beyond what we had seen in 2020, 2021, beyond just being, there's those memes online as like, why can't I just right click and save as PNG or whatever. So now we're really thinking about, okay, what's the evolution? What's the interactivity? What is the bonus to all of it? What we have right now, that could just be V1, version 1. So what's going to be version 2, version 3, version 4? And I think that's the huge opportunity with digital collectibles, is that we can continue to evolve it. If you have a great team of engineers, people who work within the 3D space, interactive space, like how can you evolve it? How can you gamify it? What other avenues can you really take with it? And I think that is the mindset that we're going through in Dapper Labs, is what is the next evolution of what a collectible can be. It's a lot of internal discussions, a lot of explorations that we're going through. But I think that it's going upwards. And I think that there was a certain moment in time, I want to say about 2 years ago, where there was kind of like a lull in terms of like the digital collectible, beyond sports. But there was this kind of like, okay, it's existing. What value does it have? There's a lot of questions surrounding even like the ethics of, you know, the ideas of NFTs. So there's still a lot of conversations. And I think that we as a company, we are trying to push the boundaries and seeing what the evolution could be.
Mm-hmm. And what do you find out of kind of the last couple years of designing? What do you feel really gets collectors excited?
It's definitely, we're seeing a lot of excitement surrounding the rookies and the content. I think that's really what's driving it. And when we can combine it with great art, we not only do you have the moments that you own legally, you own with the royalties and everything, we also have to curate great art that goes along with it, that fits within this set or this campaign. Similar to physical collectibles, you have to think about the curation of it all. So we're working a lot with our curators to see, what is the next great moment that we can start to that people want to own. So we are really having to keep a tab on historical content, but also current content. So, for example, we're in the playoffs right now, and we're implementing instant moments. So, you would have seen a play that happened a couple hours before, and how can we bring that out to the audience as quick as possible? Because they really have an excitement over owning what's most current right now.
Right. And that pretty much could translate well to Josh. I know with Topps, they have the Topps Now. It is a cool product with Topps that they also are doing the physical when it comes to baseball, and some of the Topps Now moments that they generate. Do you feel with the future generations, is it the rookies, or do you find that or what really hits well with the collectors from the works that you've been on with Topps?
Yeah, like Daniel said, the rookies are always the kind of the chase. I think, I don't know. I mean, I came into the collecting world when it was starting to rise up, with the COVID, and just the influx in the hobby. But now, I mean, with Fanatics, I mean, I love that Fanatics took over Topps because they restructured the sketch card division and have really improved it quite a bit. And I've worked closely with them. They reached out to some artists asking their opinion, so I thought that was great. Whereas before, it was just a lot of miscommunication nonstop, and so artists were frustrated. Um, but I do have a worry that the hobby's turning into just a flipping hobby, where it's all about flipping. It's not a hobby, because I see a lot of collectors just, they want to collect like the base sets, and they want to collect what they want, but everything's priced so high. So I don't know. I mean, from a hobby side, because I don't collect, and I do not want to because I can't imagine trying to collect now. I collected Bo Jackson back in the day. I still have all my collection, but I can't imagine trying to collect today. And so, yeah, it does feel like a flipping kind of mentality. But what, like Daniel said about the rookies, for my sketch cards, I try to focus on drawing rookies, drawing highly collectible players, because if it gets pulled, then that's something that somebody wants. Not only, I mean, I have people who are going after my cards because they want to chase my artwork and find my artwork, both in Star Wars and baseball. But if the player matches, an equal excitement, of a hot rookie, then that's even more benefit to me and to the collector. So that's kind of what I mean, I think I drew like one relief pitcher, and I'm just like, and that was my first year, and I was like, why did I draw a relief pitcher? Like, nobody, nobody wants a relief. It'd be like drawing a kicker. Um, but so I don't know. I'm a little worried about the hobby, but I think it'll work itself out.
I know. I'm sure Daniel. I'm sure it's similarities with the flipping and people just buying to turn over a profit.
Yeah,
It's kind of something pretty big on the digital world as well. But it's kind of been leveling off, I feel like, on the digital side. The physical side has also just been very popular with the trade shows. A lot of outreach that has been going on, podcasts, social media is also taking over. In the past, sometimes you didn't know who pulled a card, but now it's like overnight, a card's been pulled and it's getting
right.
reposted, and that's it.
Yeah,
That card's out there. The pull skeins, that one went out, instantly, and it was hitting radio broadcast, television broadcasts, and as soon as it was pulled. Back in the day as a kid, I didn't know. I mean, whoever was around the local neighborhood, maybe you heard a story from another hobby collector. That is kind of how things work. But today, how do you feel with the instant news or instant social media, Daniel? Has that really helped or kind of hurt the industry?
I think from and I say this a lot internally, but I think the instantaneous like ability to share is it really drives user acquisition. I'm gonna talk a little bit businessy here, but it yeah it's great because it really advertises your product. I think that I always say like, hey, anytime a user or a fan or collector, posts their pack rips, their unboxings, whatever you want to call it. Anytime they post that on social media, that's marketing for for their viewers to enter your products. So make sure that you're releasing really high quality collectibles. The experience is frictionless. Everything has to be top tier because you're being broadcast to hundreds to thousands of potential collectors, and you really want to entice them to come in. And I think that the instant idea or the instant gratification or the excitement that streamers, podcasters, people on, your everyday fans on social media, what they present to you is really valuable because it draws your users in, it draws your collectibles and collectors and your fans in. So I think it's definitely positive. We're always finding ways to how can we, act go through different activations even in person so that you receive, let's say, a business card, you scan it, and then you get your first pack, and that's like instant right there. And then you might be at a game and you do that, or it's a very social, and people want to, what I would call like peacock and be like, okay, here's all the great pulls that I have. And for them to take your collectibles, broadcast it, really pull people in and engage, especially the fans. It's highly valuable.
Yeah, it's very live to the moment really today. With the as far as your artwork go, having it displayed and having it reposted, it's great to see that able to get that out to everybody. And as far as driving, that intense feeling of saying, okay, I got to go after this pack now, or I really like how that looks. I mean, all of collecting is enhanced by the artwork on these cards. As far as you can go back and remember some of the great cards, hand drawn, some of the first digital stuff I saw with NBA Top Shot. I just really felt like that this is something that I want to hold. I mean, there's definitely some things where you say, hey, this play is not my favorite, so sure, you're gonna look to maybe flip it or sell it. But as far as if someone, I think, has their own books of physical cards, or you have your memorabilia for years and years, once you get your hands on something that you really see and like, you remember that, you remember why you wanted it, and you remember why you chased it, and it's something that it's you don't really want to get rid of those things that you chase because you appreciate them. Are there some collections? I know you said Bo Jackson was one of your favorites, Josh. As far as besides sports collecting, any other collecting or something that you've seen from working for Topps and being there that you said that, oh wow, that's something that I would like to have, whether it's memorabilia or a signed ball or something that you have a passion for and you kind of saw and said that this is something special?
I mean, I appreciate all of that stuff. I think some of the ideas that Topps comes up with are really cool. On the digital side, obviously, there's so much more that you can do with the social media aspect as well, and promoting that kind of stuff. And even on the sketch card side, I mean, I've pushed Topps or given them suggestions like, you guys could be promoting the sketch card artists, like, because they've been doing a really good job of posting stuff and saying, this is the chase, a lot of like the downtowns and that kind of stuff. But I'm like, a lot of art collectors don't know that sketch cards are in the product. So why don't you promote some of those and then say, here's some 10 chases that we love for this set. And then that really pushes the product too. But for myself, looking at what to collect, I don't have time. I work a full time job, I have a day job, and then I have my night hustle, um, and that's just working on cards. And then like social media is its own monster, trying to keep up with that. And I'm just like, oh my gosh. And then you got day life stuff, and Got to go mow the yard. So like I'd love to collect some cool stuff, but um, I appreciate it. I respect those who collect it. I love collectors who do that, but I just don't have time.
It's something I kind of find amazing too, because as far as art and creating, just want to talk for both of you on this, the timelines. Josh, what do you say about the timeline that they give you to do something? Because sometimes being creative and working on something,
Yeah.
it's not 9 to 5. It's not, hey, I'm in, I'm out, and I'm punched out, and that's it. My day's over. Grab my lunchbox, I'm going home. I mean, sometimes you got to sit there and really, find the creative juice to do it. So, I mean,
Oh
how
God, yeah.
does that work for you?
Yeah, that's finding the creative juice. Like if I'm tired, exhausted, like I'm or not motivated, it's really hard for me to be in the zone and drawing. A lot of late nights, as any artist would tell you. But the shortest amount of time I've ever had was 13 days to get something done. As far as cards, no, I'm sorry, 11 days, and then the longest I think has been like 2 months. So like Tops has gotten a lot better with giving artists time because it usually on average it was like anywhere 3 to 5 weeks for getting cards done for a set, and then it's like the next set is coming. I mean, it's nonstop. So it's back to back. But they're doing a lot better of. That's what I said. Like Fanatics team is doing a phenomenal job of organization, uh, commanding all the artists, making sure all trying to get 400 artists to be okay with everything, what's going on, and answering questions is pretty difficult. But
A lot of coordinating for sure. I
oh
mean,
my god,
and
it's
it's
crazy.
interesting too because with Tops, you get. I know there's recently some news about them having the Tops NFTs being listed on OpenSea. There's also the Tops Bunt, which is a digital app. So there's also a lot of digital stuff as well. It is something that between the way the future is right now on collecting, that work is getting out there in many ways. It's really. I remember, my original remembering of artwork was I believe the Diamond Kings. I don't know if you remember that
Dick
series.
Prez is like one of the original
Yeah.
artists that was doing
Yep.
Donruss, I believe. Yeah,
Yeah, exactly. The Perez,
Yep.
Donruss cars, they were really something that caught my eye. I collected every one of them. Every time I got one, it was something. I just really loved the look of those cards. And Daniel, as far as the design for you, as far as the timeline that you have, the given timeline to get things out. Is it hard to create and spend time? I mean, is it, hey, give me a few more minutes, I need another day, or is it just
Yeah.
you have enough hands there just to keep it going?
So there's quite a few answers to this. So uh so we kind of have to think production wise, like a very much a production house. So we it can take anywhere for the collectible, and when I say like the collectible art, I'm talking about in Top Shot. There's that panel on the side that you get a 3/4 view. um Same with NFL All Day, you have the back panel. So it really depends on what we're releasing and the value and the tier and all that, where you want to go creative or artistically. So if we were to do it internal, and then there is a bunch of different aspects, like, oh, is this more typography based? Is it more pattern based? So that can take, if you're super fast and you know what you're doing, you're really going through gut instincts and you kind of just like lock in. That can take anywhere from 1 to 2 days. So that's very quick, but that's a very simple output. We're not talking about super customized, we're going illustration based, more artistic in that sense. But if we're talking about more of a highly sought after collectibles, similar to our Rookie Revelation drop that happened a couple weeks ago, we are actually working with contract artists. We have a roster of artists that we work with. So it's really about me and our other designer doing the art direction and working with those artists. And that can take about 3 weeks to get through the finish line. So somewhat similar timelines, but it definitely varies. And there, because we are a digital, we don't have like, oh, we got to send this out to the manufacturer, that kind of physical production timeline. The turnaround is much quicker, and then it can go, we can finish the artwork, we can send it to our renderers and be like, here, this is the artwork, this is how you use it. And then they mint it and everything, and that can take, I want to say, like less than 24 hours to be, in the collector's hands. So from that delivery, it can be really, really quick, but it definitely it varies, and it depends on how I want to say how locked in we are, because like Josh said, sometimes you really, as a creative, you cannot, if it's not happening, it's not happening, and you kind of have to step away. And I tell our designers, like, if you are stuck, stop while you're ahead, walk away from it while you're ahead, and then you will come back the next morning or the next day or whenever it starts to feel right, and you'll be refreshed. Of course, again, with our deadlines, that refreshing kind of time kind of has to be very condensed, I would say.
Can I ask you a question? You mentioned like when you're working with artists, because I have on the Star Wars side, because there's such a demand for my stuff on the Star Wars side, and I don't produce a ton. They want more of it, but they've asked me, "Do you do digital?" And I said, "I've thought about it, but like I'm juggling a lot of different things. I'm wearing different hats, so I just have not gone down that route. So I'm wondering, like, when you guys work with artists, are they producing digital, either Procreate or Photoshop type stuff, or are they doing hand sketches? Because you said you pass them off to a digital person to
So
recreate.
they produce it in Photoshop or Illustrator. So they're primarily working with in the digital kind of space. So then when I say we're delivering it to like our renderers, they are the ones who are placing it into the cube, and outputting the different formats that we need, like the videos that you'll see. Yeah, but we typically need the Photoshop or the AI files, the digital files, because that we start to extract different components from that and then really use that to influence our campaigns that we use to advertise the entire collectible, or we use it to influence, because sometimes beyond what we have, and luckily all our artists understand that we don't have enough time with them, or they ran out of time, or there just wasn't enough runway. So sometimes we need to make those updates, or sometimes we want to animate it, and we work with our motion designer to look at the artwork.
I
And
mean, I know in my day job, I work for a life insurance company, but I'm in the marketing department, and we're asked to look into AI stuff a lot and different programs to help our processes. But I know on the art side, I mean, AI is extraordinarily potent with what people can do. I see it on the sketch card side as well, because I'll see sketch cards being put up either in groups, and I look at it, and they say it's a painting, or they say it's a sketch card. I'm like, that's just a photo with a Photoshop filter over it. That's all that is. Like, I can recognize it immediately.
Yeah.
But with you guys, I mean, I would think that helps creativity, and just pushing the boundaries of what you guys can do.
Yeah, the side of AI, I actually had a conversation about this with friends a couple nights ago, and they're asking about AI as in design or in art. And I think that for us, I don't know if I'll get in trouble for saying this, but
I think it's
my opinion.
dangerous, but
I
it's
think it's
also
dangerous
awesome.
as well. I think it's awesome because you can definitely use it to gather inspiration.
Yes,
I
I
think
would agree with that.
as references, I mean, I was sitting with Prapanch, who Paul, you had spoken to about this, and
Yep.
I was talking about, okay, some theming for feature sets for our product, and then he just went to chat GPT and then asked for references, and that's a really great resource, because that's going to take me 4 or 5 hours to really just curate everything that I need. So it's definitely, in a sense, great for reference finding, or doing your preliminary research. But I
It's
mean,
like a mood board. Remember
it's
they?
mood boarding.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's mood boarding. And then I've been in meetings where I've watched people play around with AI, trying to get a style and try to get different concepts in. And even I've used it myself, just to be like, okay, let's get the creative juices flowing, seeing what references. And it's so finicky. It's, to a certain point, I'm like, I could have done this much faster as sketches, either thumbnail sketches or go on my iPad. So it has a long way to go. I don't see it necessarily making a huge impact in terms of our actual deliverable itself. I mean, marketing is very different from, creating the art itself. Marketing, if I could have AI like do various layouts for me and then output it, I'll be like, that's great, because that's like the production side of things that sometimes, as a designer, in-house designer, you don't want to touch. It's a necessary thing. But the art side is that's where you want to spend your time, because that's where you need more of the creative flavor. And I think that there's a lot of people, aside from artists and creatives themselves, there's a lot of people in the world who really respect art. They really respect the creativity that artists have and designers have. And I think that they will always clock it if something's AI. They will always be able to tell this wasn't.
If there's six fingers, I know it ain't real.
You guys should just do a set where like everybody has 6 fingers and
yeah. But I mean, people can clock it. And I think people who really value creativity and the effort that artists take to create artwork, that will always hold to a higher degree than outputting AI generated art, because it just doesn't feel right. I mean, if you're looking for cheap and dirty, then go ahead, work with AI, but you're going to attract a different clientele, and you're attracting a different group of people that I personally that's not what I gravitate towards. I really value craft, and I really value high impact and really great work and production and all that.
But it's also, I think that's what the hobby basically just drives, that collectors want to collect something that has a value to them because of how it looks, what it stands for, the stories behind it. So for me, I think AI can play a lot within a lot of the world today. I mean, as far as driving music or TV shows, or these streaming networks that have to quickly turn out shows. Sometimes you need to keep writing and writing. I mean, that's something where maybe that it comes in as a tool when they have to just keep turning out episodes and help with as far as how quick they can release the next series of something. But when it comes to something that you want, I think, hold and have in your collection, just because you just feel like that you have a pride in why you own it, I think you would prefer that it was something coming from a real artist, coming from a real design.
Just to piggyback on that real quick, I always think about the collector and like you said, what they value. And I've had conversations with people who have purchased what they believe is an original painting, and I say, I'm sorry, it's not. And then I don't want to throw other artists under the bus, but if they ask me, well, why do you believe that? And I said, well, it's Photoshop, filters. And it's being advertised as a painting or hand drawn, that kind of thing. And it's not. So I feel bad for the collector who spent a lot of money, and it's to me, it feels shady. So I always think about the end user. Now, if they love it and like, well, I don't care. I love it. That's great. If you're asking me, I'm gonna tell you.
Well, yeah, I know that's definitely good to do that. You don't know who knows. Maybe they're saving it for someone in their will, and they're gonna think twice about it if you tell them. I mean, really, it's good to know these things. I mean, if you like something, you like something. It's like the poster of a famous painting. I mean, yes, you can put your poster up, but I mean, it's those that want to collect the original. They're still gonna want that original hanging on their wall.
I got the Mona Lisa. No, that's a poster.
Yeah, yeah. I think people just want to. They want to know what they're getting into. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
No, that's awesome. But that is some great stuff, guys. I think it's just really tells the direction that things are going. You guys are really on top of the industry, what people want, what people get, and what the future brings. I want to thank you guys for coming on today, sharing all these great stories, telling us about what it takes behind the card and behind what people are chasing out there. So thank you so much. It was a great time, and I appreciate having you on today. And, definitely follow and on the Instagram, on X, all your social platforms. Stay tuned to the guests we have here today and to the products that they're putting out there. So thanks for tuning in. What do you collect? And we hope to talk to you guys soon. I appreciate it, Josh and Daniel. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you, guys.